In this video, we're going to talk about Snapchat strategy. And before we get started, I wanted to show you this quick video on growing your business with Snapchat.
Snapchat is a camera app born on mobile. 166 million people use it every day to create pictures and videos called snaps, tell stories, and more. Our community uses snaps to show friends what they're up to, what they're trying on, and how they're feeling. Over 3 billion snaps are created every day. On average, 60% of daily Snapchatters create every day with their close friends. Because Snapchat is about talking and telling stories with the people that matter most to you. This is also why an ad on Snapchat is much more than an impression. It's a recommendation, a new way to play together, and an immersive way to tell a story. Snapchat, it's your business on mobile.
So some of the features that you can use as a business, some of the features of Snapchat that you can kind of market to people through are these My Story features. So this is where it allows users to create personal picture and video montages to be broadcast to their friends. These montages are available for up to 24 hours. And you have Live Story, which is crowdsourced stories combined into a single snap sent to all users. So a live story is a curated series of user-submitted content that documents a major event or major themes. Past live stories, for example, have highlighted world cities or high-profile events like the Oscars or the NFL draft, or maybe even universities. So advertisers can opt to take over all ad space or sponsor 10-second segments of a live story. And as with Discover ads, which we'll talk about shortly, live story content must be full-screen vertical videos and meet Snapchat's quality and editorial standards. And then the ads on these live stories are signified by an ad watermark. And the stories are active, again, for 24 hours. And then you have official stories, which are stories by notable public figures and celebrities, and messaging and video chats, which will disappear after being read. So brands can use Snapchat in a number of ways. You can send a coupon or discount code via Snapchat. You can give behind-the-scenes looks at new products. As we mentioned earlier, some of the things that snappers like is to kind of get that kind of behind-the-scenes proprietary information. You can announce contests or introduce new employees. You can document events, launch a new product, or show a sneak peek of the brand in action. In order to build your Snapchat following, there's a few things that you can do. First, you want to reference your Snapchat account on your website. Write about your account in a blog post, include your Snapchat handle on your About page, and things like that. You want to also mention your Snapchat account via other social platforms for that cross-platform integration. So use the bio or About section or description to mention your Snapchat handle. You can promote your account on other relevant forums. You can encourage following because it's imperative to be followed so you can share your exact Snapchat handle due to the limited search functionality in Snapchat. You can also tease content on other social platforms that's only available on Snapchat. So let followers know that you have more or different content on your Snapchat account than you might have on other social platforms. And then you can leverage the social influencers by partnering with relevant or popular social media personalities to maybe take over your account and draw in traffic from their following. So create those partnerships with those influencers. So let's talk a little bit about creating Snapchat stories, which you all probably already know how to do. But since they're a big part of the advertising opportunities, I wanted to kind of go over it briefly. So a Snapchat story is where you can post individual snaps to your story section, which acts like a type of news feed. So people can view all the snaps that you've added to your story during a 24-hour period, and then after that, the story disappears. Everyone on your friends list can view your story as you continue to add to it during the course of a day. And when users tap on your story, they'll see every video or picture that you snapped in succession. So to create your first story, when you're ready to share your snap, choose the My Story button to add it to the 24-hour log that is your story. And repeat that process throughout the day as you add additional photos and videos. And eventually, you'll create kind of an engaging sequence of videos and images for your viewers. So there are 3 features you can use to improve your stories. Number 1, you can change the speed and direction of your snaps. So you can adjust the speed and direction of your video snaps by using the snail icon to slow your video down or the rabbit icon to speed it up. You can use the rewind feature to reverse the order of your videos by swiping left like you would with a filter until you see the icon of the motion feature that you'd like to use. This adjusts the speed or direction of your short video. Another thing you can do to improve your stories is to delete a single snap from a story if you find that it's not really performing as well as the others or it's not as engaging to people. So to remove the snap, this gives you the instructions. You swipe 1 to 2 times to the right until you arrive at your main stories screen. Then you'll see your story at the top of the list. Click on it, which will automatically start it playing. And then once your story rotation lands on the snap you want to remove, just swipe from top to bottom to bring up a menu of options. Then click on the trash can icon to delete that snap. So that is how you can remove them if they're not as engaging or interacting as well. Another thing you can do to improve your stories is to create a custom geo filter. So this is an example of one that HubSpot used here from one of their inbound conferences, I believe, in Sydney. So you can connect with Snapchat users in your area by creating these on-demand geo filters, which can be used during a time and location of your choosing. So you design your filter, then you map out a region where you'd like it to be available, and then you submit it to Snapchat for approval. Once it's approved, then users in that geographic region will be able to use that filter to let their friends know that they're at an event or that they support your brand. It not only helps spread awareness for the events, especially events, but it helps engage users who are already there. It's definitely a great thing to use for specific events. So sponsored geo filters are tiny pieces of art that always make an impression. When Snapchatters in the location of your choice take a snap, they'll be able to see your geo filter and use it to explain where, when, and why they took the snap. Here's an example of one from KU, from Lawrence, Kansas photo. So in the U.S., a single national sponsored geo filter typically reaches 40 to 60% of daily Snapchatters. So it's got a huge reach for it. And to create on-demand geo filters, the 3 steps again are you design it, you design what you want it to look like. You have to meet Snapchat's guidelines, and then you upload your artwork. Then you pick the time that you want it to run, time frame, and then you put a geofence or a map of the area that you want it to be available in, and then you submit it for approval. It will be reviewed by Snapchat within 1 business day, and then you can begin using it. So here's some example of what some geo filters might look like to promote a teen night, or a basketball game, or a party, or even brands like Taco Bell have used it. So let's take a look at some messaging best practices for Snapchat. So you want to create stories and snaps that capture attention. So think creatively, be authentic, be quirky, be silly. The users on Snapchat don't expect perfection. They just want to be in on the action. They want a behind-the-scenes look at what your brand is doing and who you are as a brand. They want authenticity. So highlight the uniqueness that is your brand, your culture, your products, the people and customers that are involved with your product. And as you're planning, plot your ideas out on a calendar. So come up with a content calendar of when you're going to release certain ideas or snaps or stories, and when you're going to what you're going to use them to promote. So your story is a result of all your snaps for a day. So stick to a theme or a message to create that narrative. And then to improve engagement, use short videos. You want to use videos of 60 seconds or less is really best. And then videos that are perfectly timed. So jump on a news story as it hits the press. So try to get involved in things that are happening, in real time. So be timely with your messages. Snapchatters who focus on variety can mix things up a bit. So play with both selfie cam style videos and still photos as well. So show a mix of content. And then again, get creative. Snapchatters don't necessarily want the perfect story. They want the real story. So have fun showing your authenticity, your authentic side, and you'll attract that engaged Snapchat audience. So here's how Grubhub nailed engagement. They built anticipation by creating this thing that says, Snapchat, 10 random snaps by 12 a.m. will win. And then they give an example. And then how, snap us back a food doodle and let the hunt begin. So they're creating that anticipation of getting people engaged with their brand and offering up a prize. So in our next video, we'll talk about the advertising opportunities on Snapchat.